Hi everyone, I'm Jack, and welcome to Talk Ada. I'm so excited that you're here today.
Hello, I'm Ada, and together with Jack, we're here to help you learn English through real conversations you can understand and use every day.
Today, we're going to talk about food in English.
Yes, and by the end of this lesson, you'll not only feel more confident talking about food in English, but also gain practical life skills for serving meals with care and kindness.
Yes, and if this is your first time here, please click the subscribe button and like this video.
Yes, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. It really helps us make more practical English lessons for you. Thank you.
So get ready to improve your English and join us on this delicious learning journey. Let's start today's conversation.
Hi, Jack. Good morning. It's really nice to see you today. I hope you're feeling great and full of energy. I just finished tidying up the kitchen, and the smell of warm bread is still in the air. Moments like this make me feel calm and happy, especially when I know I get to talk with a friend. How has your morning been so far?
Good morning, Ada. It's great to see you too. My morning has been quite relaxed, actually. I went for a short walk, felt the fresh air, and now I'm feeling a bit hungry. When you mentioned the smell of bread, it instantly made me think about food and home cooking. Food really has a way of bringing comfort, don't you think?
Absolutely, Jack. I agree with you. Food is not just about eating, it's about sharing, caring, and enjoying time together. When I cook, I like to think about how the food will be served and who will eat it. Even something simple, like placing food neatly on a plate, can make a meal feel special. Speaking of that, are you interested in learning more about food today?
Yes, I really am. I enjoy eating, but I want to learn how to dish and serve food properly too. I think knowing how to serve food politely and attractively is an important life skill. For example, I've seen people use different spoons and plates, but I'm not always sure why. I'd love to talk about that with you.
That sounds wonderful, Jack. Let's start slowly and keep it fun. Before serving food, the first step is to make sure everything is clean and ready. You wash your hands, choose the right plate, and place it in front of the person neatly. When you dish food, you should use a serving spoon, not your own spoon, and gently place the food in the center of the plate. This shows respect and care.
I like how you explained that, Ada. It sounds simple but meaningful. I also notice that when serving food, people often ask, "Would you like some more?" or "Is this enough?" That feels polite and friendly. Serving food isn't just a physical action, it's also about using kind words and a warm tone. It makes the person feel welcome at the table.
Exactly, Jack. You're already understanding it very well. In many homes, serving food is a way to show love. Even how you hold the plate matters. You should hold it steady and pass it carefully. When everyone is served, you can sit together and enjoy the meal. Food tastes better when the atmosphere is friendly and relaxed, just like our conversation right now.
I'm really enjoying this talk, Ada. It makes me appreciate food in a new way. I'm now curious about different types of food and how they're served in different situations, like at home or at a party. I feel like this is just the beginning of a delicious conversation, and I'm excited to learn more with you.
I'm glad you want to continue, Jack. Let's move a little deeper into the world of food. Before we can dish and serve food, we usually need to prepare it. That starts with choosing the right ingredients. When I go to the market, I like to look for fresh vegetables, clean meat, and good quality spices. Fresh ingredients make food taste better and look more appealing on the plate.
That's very interesting, Ada. I usually don't think much about ingredients, but now I realize how important they are. When you choose fresh tomatoes or crisp vegetables, the colors are brighter, and that already makes the dish more attractive. I imagine that when food looks good, people feel more excited to eat it. So preparation really begins long before it reaches the table.
You're absolutely right, Jack. After choosing ingredients, the next step is washing and cutting them properly. For example, vegetables should be washed with clean water, and you should use a sharp knife on a clean cutting board. This helps you work safely and neatly. When food is prepared carefully, it's easier to cook and later serve it in a clean and organized way.
I like how organized that sounds. I've seen people rush through cutting and mixing, but it often becomes messy. If you take your time, the kitchen stays clean and cooking feels less stressful. I also notice that when food is prepared evenly, like cutting vegetables into similar sizes, it cooks more evenly too. That must make serving easier later.
Exactly. Jack, when the food is cooked evenly, it looks better on the plate. Now, let's talk about cooking a simple dish like rice and vegetables. You cook the rice until it's soft but not mushy, and you sauté the vegetables until they are tender. Once the food is ready, you turn off the heat and let it rest for a moment. This helps the flavors settle before serving.
That makes sense, Ada. I've never thought about letting food rest before serving, but I can imagine it improves the taste. After cooking, I suppose the next step is deciding how to dish the food. You wouldn't just throw it onto the plate. You'd gently scoop the rice, then place the vegetables beside it so the plate looks balanced and inviting.
Yes, Jack, that's a great observation. Balance is important when serving food. You can use a ladle for soups, a large spoon for rice, and tongs for vegetables. You should avoid overfilling the plate so the food doesn't spill. A clean plate with neatly arranged food shows care and respect for the person who will eat it.
I'm really enjoying how practical this is, Ada. It feels like I'm learning something I can use every day. Preparing, cooking, and serving food now seems like a complete process, not just a quick task. I'm starting to see food as an experience from start to finish, and I'm excited to learn more with you.
Great! Let's continue, Jack. Now that the food is cooked and ready, the next important step is setting the table. This part is often forgotten, but it really changes how a meal feels. Before serving, I like to wipe the table clean, place the plates evenly, and arrange the cutlery properly. A simple, clean table already makes people feel welcome and comfortable.
I agree, Ada. I've noticed that when a table is neatly set, I automatically sit more carefully and enjoy the meal more. Even small things like placing a napkin beside the plate or setting a glass of water make the meal feel special. It's almost like the table is saying, "Please relax and enjoy your food." That's a nice feeling.
Exactly, Jack. Once the table is ready, it's time to serve the food. When serving others, it's polite to serve them first before serving yourself. You carry the plate carefully, place it gently in front of the person, and make sure it's facing the right way. If it's a shared meal, you can place the dishes in the center of the table with serving spoons.
That's a very useful tip, Ada. I've sometimes felt awkward when serving food, but now I understand that calm and gentle movements matter. I also like the idea of shared dishes in the middle of the table. It encourages people to talk and interact, and everyone can choose how much food they want. That feels friendly and respectful.
Yes, sharing food brings people closer. When you dish food from a shared plate, you should use the serving spoon, not your own. You scoop the food carefully and place it on your plate without touching other food. This keeps everything clean and shows good table manners. Hygiene is very important when serving and eating food.
That makes a lot of sense, Ada. Now I see that good manners at the table are just as important as good cooking. Also, when someone is serving me, I should say thank you and smile. Simple words can make the person serving feel appreciated. Eating together becomes more enjoyable when everyone is polite and kind.
You're absolutely right. Another important part of serving is asking questions. You can ask, "Is this enough for you?" or "Would you like more?" This shows care and helps avoid wasting food. After everyone is served, you can sit down together and begin the meal calmly, enjoying both the food and the company.
I really like that idea, Ada. Serving food now feels like a gentle conversation, not just an action. From setting the table to placing the plate and asking polite questions, everything works together. I'm starting to feel more confident about serving food properly, and I'm curious about how food is served on special occasions too.
Wonderful, Jack. Let's move on. Serving food at home is usually relaxed, but serving food on special occasions feels a little different. At home, you might serve food casually, but you still try to be neat and kind. On special days, like birthdays or family dinners, people often take extra time to make the food look beautiful and the table more festive.
That's true, Ada. I've noticed that on special occasions, people use nicer plates, matching bowls, and sometimes even decorations on the table. The food is often served in a careful order, like starting with appetizers, then the main dish, and finally dessert. It feels more organized and exciting, almost like a small celebration around food.
Exactly, Jack. On such occasions, serving food in courses is very common. For example, you may start by serving soup. You carry the soup bowl carefully, making sure it doesn't spill, and place it gently on the table. After everyone finishes, you clear the bowls before serving the main dish. This keeps the table tidy and helps everyone focus on each dish.
I like that idea, Ada. Clearing the table between courses makes space and keeps things clean. I also notice that when food is served in stages, people don't feel rushed. They can enjoy each dish slowly. It also gives the person serving time to prepare the next dish properly, which makes serving smoother and less stressful.
You're learning very quickly, Jack. Another important thing on special occasions is how you present the food. You might garnish a dish with herbs or arrange food in a nice pattern. Even simple food can look special when it's presented with care. When you place the dish on the table, you can explain what it is, which makes people more interested.
That sounds very thoughtful, Ada. I imagine saying something like, "This is vegetable rice with grilled chicken," helps people know what to expect. It also shows pride in your cooking. When food is explained kindly, it creates a connection between the cook and the guests. That connection makes the meal feel warm and personal.
Exactly, Jack. Serving food is not about showing off, it's about sharing. Even on special occasions, you should watch your guests and make sure they are comfortable. You can refill drinks, offer extra food, and check if anyone needs help. Good serving means paying attention and being considerate throughout the meal.
I really like that, Ada. It makes serving food feel like an act of kindness rather than a task. Whether at home or on a special day, the goal is the same, to make people feel welcome and satisfied. I'm enjoying learning how food and care go hand in hand, and I'm ready to learn even more.
Great, Jack. Let's keep going. One very important part of food culture is understanding portion size. When you dish food, you should think about how much a person can comfortably eat. Serving too much may lead to food waste, while serving too little may leave someone hungry. A balanced portion shows thoughtfulness and responsibility.
That's a really good point, Ada. I've seen plates piled very high, and sometimes people can't finish the food. It feels wasteful, especially when food takes time and effort to prepare. I think it's better to start with a moderate portion and then offer more if the person wants it. That way, everyone is satisfied without wasting food.
Exactly, Jack. When serving rice or pasta, for example, you can start with one scoop and then ask politely if they would like more. This gives the person control over how much they eat. It also keeps the plate neat and easy to handle. Good portioning is both practical and polite.
I like that idea a lot, Ada. It also makes serving feel interactive, like a conversation instead of a one-way action. I've noticed that when people are asked, they feel respected. They don't feel forced to eat more than they want, and that creates a relaxed atmosphere at the table.
Yes, Jack, and avoiding food waste is very important. If there is leftover food, you can store it properly instead of throwing it away. You let the food cool, place it in a clean container, and keep it in the refrigerator. This way, the food can be eaten later and nothing goes to waste.
That's very useful to know, Ada. I didn't realize storing food properly was also part of good food habits. It shows respect for the ingredients and the effort put into cooking. I think learning this helps people become more responsible and mindful, not just better cooks or servers.
You're absolutely right, Jack. Serving food responsibly also teaches patience and awareness. When everyone takes only what they need, there is usually enough for all. It also encourages people to appreciate each bite. Food tastes better when you know it hasn't been wasted or taken for granted.
I really enjoy how this conversation connects food with values like respect and care, Ada. I'm starting to see serving food as a skill that reflects a person's character. It's not just about filling plates, but about thinking ahead and caring for others. I'm excited to learn what comes next.
All right, Jack, let's move on to another important part of food culture: table manners. Once the food is served and everyone begins to eat, how we behave at the table really matters. Simple things like sitting properly, chewing with your mouth closed, and not speaking with food in your mouth make the meal more pleasant for everyone.
I completely agree, Ada. I've noticed that good table manners make people feel more comfortable eating together. When everyone eats calmly and politely, the atmosphere stays relaxed. It also shows respect for the person who prepared and served the food. Good manners seem to be a silent way of saying, "I appreciate this meal."
That's a beautiful way to put it, Jack. Another important habit is using cutlery properly. You hold the spoon or fork gently, not tightly, and bring the food to your mouth carefully. You also avoid making loud noises with plates or cutlery. These small actions help keep the meal peaceful and enjoyable.
Yes, Ada, and I think listening is also part of good manners. During a meal, people often talk about like and happy topics. You take turns speaking, and you don't interrupt others. Eating together becomes a time to connect, share stories, and laugh softly while enjoying the food.
Exactly, Jack. Polite conversation makes the food experience richer. You can compliment the food by saying things like, "This tastes delicious," or "You did a great job cooking." Such words encourage the cook and create a warm feeling at the table. Kind words are just as nourishing as the food itself.
I really like that idea, Ada. I've noticed that when someone praises the food, the cook smiles and feels proud. It turns the meal into a shared success. Also, if something is not to your taste, it's polite to stay quiet or speak kindly instead of complaining.
You're absolutely right, Jack. Respect is key. When the meal is finished, you should place your cutlery neatly on the plate and say thank you. Helping to clear the table or offering to help wash dishes is another way to show appreciation. These actions complete the meal in a thoughtful way.
This scene has taught me a lot, Ada. I now understand that eating is not just about food, but about behavior, conversation, and kindness. From serving to eating and cleaning up, everything is connected. I'm really enjoying this journey, and I can't wait to continue learning more.
Let's continue, Jack. Now I'd like to talk about different types of dishes and how they are usually served. Not all food is served the same way. For example, soup is served in a bowl with a spoon, while solid foods like meat or vegetables are served on a flat plate. Knowing this helps you choose the right dish and makes serving much easier.
That's very helpful, Ada. I've sometimes been unsure about which plate or bowl to use. Now I see that the type of food decides it. Liquids need deep bowls so they don't spill, and dry foods look better on wide plates. Choosing the right dish also makes the table look more organized and professional.
Exactly, Jack. Let's talk about side dishes, too. Foods like salad, bread, or sauce are often served in smaller bowls or plates and placed beside the main dish. This keeps flavors separate and allows people to mix them if they want. When you serve side dishes, you usually place them after the main dish is served.
I like that idea, Ada. It gives people choices and makes the meal more interesting. I also notice that when side dishes are served neatly, people don't feel overwhelmed. Everything has its place on the table, and the meal feels balanced. Serving food this way shows planning and care.
Yes, Jack, planning is very important. Desserts are another good example. Desserts are usually served after the main meal, once the table is cleared. You might serve cake on a small plate with a fork, or ice cream in a bowl with a spoon. Serving dessert feels like a sweet ending to the meal.
That sounds lovely, Ada. I think dessert also changes the mood. People relax more and talk happily because the main meal is over. Serving dessert properly makes the whole meal feel complete.
Even a simple dessert feels special when it's served nicely and at the right time.
You're absolutely right, Jack. Drinks are also part of serving food. Water, juice, or tea should be poured carefully into clean glasses. You should not fill the glass too much to avoid spilling. It's polite to ask people what they would like to drink before pouring.
I'm learning so much, Ada. Understanding how to serve different dishes makes me feel more confident about hosting a meal. It all feels less confusing now. From soup to dessert and drinks, everything follows a gentle order. I'm really enjoying this, and I'm ready to move forward.
All right, Jack. Now, let's imagine you are hosting guests at your home. This is where everything we've talked about comes together. When guests arrive, you greet them warmly and invite them to sit comfortably. Before serving food, you make sure the table is ready and the food is warm. A calm and confident host makes guests feel relaxed.
That sounds very important, Ada. I've noticed that when a host looks organized and calm, guests feel at ease too. Even if the food is simple, the way it's served can make it feel special. I think smiling, speaking clearly, and moving confidently while serving food really help create a welcoming environment.
Exactly, Jack. When it's time to serve, you don't rush. You start by explaining what you've prepared, then you serve slowly and carefully. You might say, "Please help yourself," or "I'll serve you." While serving, you pay attention to your guests, making sure everyone gets food and feels included.
I really like that approach, Ada. It makes serving food feel friendly instead of stressful. I imagine walking around the table, holding plates properly and placing them gently in front of guests. I would also make eye contact and speak politely so the guests feel respected and comfortable.
That's perfect, Jack. During the meal, you don't disappear completely. You stay nearby in case someone needs more food or a drink. You might ask, "Is everything okay?" Or, "Would you like some more?" These simple questions show care without interrupting the meal too much.
That makes a lot of sense, Ada. I think guests appreciate that kind of attention. It shows that the host truly cares about their experience. At the same time, the host should also sit, eat, and enjoy the meal. That balance makes the gathering feel natural and warm.
Absolutely, Jack. Hosting is about sharing, not perfection. Even if something goes wrong, like food cooling down or a small spill, you stay calm and positive. Guests remember how you made them feel more than the food itself. A kind attitude always leaves a good impression.
I really love that message, Ada. Hosting and serving food now feel less scary and more joyful. I feel like I've learned how to welcome people with confidence and kindness. This conversation has truly changed how I see food and serving, and I'm excited to wrap it all up in the final scene.
Jack, here we are at the final scene, and I feel really happy about how far we've come. From greeting each other to preparing, serving, and enjoying food, we've learned that food is more than just something we eat. It's a way to connect, to show care, and to bring people together. I hope learners now feel confident and excited about serving food with kindness and respect.
I feel the same way, Ada. This journey has taught me that anyone can serve food well if they take their time and think about others. From choosing ingredients to setting the table and speaking politely, every step matters. I hope learners listening to this conversation feel encouraged to practice these skills at home and enjoy the process.
Exactly, Jack. Remember, you don't need to be perfect. Even simple meals can feel special when they are served with a smile and a calm attitude. Start small, be patient with yourself, and keep learning. Food is something we experience every day, so every meal is a new chance to improve and share happiness.
That's such a positive message, Ada. I truly believe that learning how to dish and serve food builds confidence and good character. To everyone listening, don't be afraid to try. Practice setting the table, serving politely, and speaking kindly during meals. These small habits can make a big difference.
Before we say goodbye, we want to thank you for joining us on this food learning journey. If you enjoyed this conversation and found it helpful, please remember to like this lesson